Hey, Mike.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going all right. I was beginning to wonder if I was in the right place.
Hello, good morning. Hi.
Hello. Must be on the West Coast, huh?
Oh, in my case, not really. I'm based in Quebec City. I made the assumption, people are on the West Coast, but in my case, I'm on the East Coast. I believe, like you, Justin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like Mike as well. We're both
Oh,
New
okay,
York.
perfect. Oh, okay, perfect.
I'll start to copy stuff over in the meeting notes document while we're waiting for people to join. Okay, I don't know who the facilitator, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to meeting note document here in Slack, or in the chat. I mean, if you're in the meeting and want to add your attendance, we'd appreciate that. Near the top, you'll see a spot where Hannah, myself, Mike, and Evan, who isn't even here, so needs to be deleted, have added themselves in. Um, and I'm going to clear out the rest of this stuff. Who is the facilitator today? Do we know that?
I think so. I can take a look at the.
I've got it open. I'm just scrolling down to find an answer for you. Uh, yeah, it looks like we are now entering into the realm of needing new facilitators.
All right, Eddie Knight.
Ah, yeah, I'm about to step in my car, so not today. Sorry.
Sorry, what'd you say?
He's in his car, so he doesn't he can't
Oh,
facilitate.
okay. Well, I'll add your attendance in at least.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I mean I can facilitate if need be here.
do we have any actual agenda items or anything?
Don't think so.
All right.
The presentation schedule is linked at the top of the meeting notes doc. If you have that open, there's like a link to a second doc.
Uh,
Yeah, hold on.
let's see.
But I'm guessing that if we're at the end of
It's
our facilitator
empty.
schedule.
It's
Yeah.
empty.
Yep.
No community demo today. Um, okay, I think everybody was panicked about getting everything together for OSSNA, and we kind of let slide this week, which
Yep.
isn't great. But all right. So Mike has volunteered to facilitate, and do you have anyone who'd like to volunteer to scribe?
I'll scribe, Justin.
Oh, thank you so much, Jen. That's awesome. All right. And we need to add your attendance into. Do you like Jen or Jennifer?
Jen works.
All right. I see like I have a sister Jenica, and she sometimes goes by one and sometimes the other. So I've noticed you sometimes drop one or the other, and I'm just trying to figure out what mood you're in today as I add things in the document. All right. So I guess Mike, I'll let you take it away.
Sure. Just as a reminder, this meeting is being recorded. It gets uploaded to LFX shortly after. And your participation in this meeting is an agreement to abide by the CNCF Code of Conduct, as well as the Lytix Foundation's antitrust policy, which can be found at the top of the meeting notes. Or used to be at the top of it. Oh yeah, there are links there. Cool. So before getting into our sort of normal our normal sort of agenda here, does anybody have is anybody new to this meeting who wants to introduce themselves?
Hello, I'm trying to
Yeah, hi,
find
this
where
is
to
Sank.
raise my hand. But yes, it's me. I'm the new one.
Hello.
I can introduce myself. So, hello everyone. My name is Svetlana. I think I've been to one of those meetings before, but this is like a proper first one. I'm based in Finland, Helsinki. I've been, that was an impressive zoom in. I'm active in a lot of security communities here in Finland, and I'm one of the AKCD Helsinki organizers, and I want to be more involved into the security tag. So here to listen what you're up to and see how can I contribute. And nice to meet you, everyone.
Great to meet you as well.
I think there might have been somebody else who wanted to introduce themselves.
Yeah, hi, this is Sanket. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So hi, this is Sanket. I'm from Clean Start Security. This is my first time I'm connecting with this group, and I'm from India right now. It's 10:30 p.m. But like to get a jump start because at Clean Start we are now getting more into security and CNCF events, memberships, as groups, and getting part of technical discussions and try to see where we can even share our expertise in some of the areas and what we can learn. So yeah, that's what and I'm looking for something, some areas where I can start focusing some things from India perspective. Also, there is a group for Asia Pacific also, but like to connect it both the places and America and Asia Pacific and see where I can fit in, like which is more feasible for me to connect on recurring basis. But yeah, I'm totally new in this area. Just let me know if you want to shoot me something with for learning and for knowing things. I'm open to know and get to know how to move further from here.
Cool. Well, thank you both. Is there anybody else? All right. All right, cool. Well, always happy to have more folks. And obviously we can chat more about any sort of particular areas you might be interested in contributing to. So next up, did we have an APAC meeting recently? I know I was at Open Source Summit was last week, so
There's notes in the document, but I don't think there's any overlap of attendees.
Yeah, looking at it, yeah. Okay. Let's see, community demo, TANstack, NPM, supply chain compromise. Oh, no. So yeah, okay. Okay, so next up, so any TOC meeting updates? I know that the chair elections and tech lead stuff is coming up pretty soon.
You might note that the chair nomination period was extended.
Okay. Chair nomination period. Okay. Do we remember who's up for election this time? Like whose seats? Is it everybody's from the chairs or?
No, only John. I think, is that right, John? Well, there's one chair that's stepping down, and I clearly don't have it in front of me.
Okay. And then the tech lead stuff I know is early June, I think.
Yep, and I think there's like 5 of us who are on the hook for that rotation.
It's Evan's seat that's up, and Evan is going to run for his seat, is my understanding.
All right, we need to talk to him about that then. So he needs to shoot him a reminder because
I think he posted something to say he wanted to run for it.
okay,
I remember seeing that earlier today.
Yep, he did put himself up for re-election. So the chair stuff is mostly sorted from our perspective, I suppose. It's prepping for the tech leads is the next one. So we should probably make sure we create space for if anybody has questions about like what's it like to be a tech lead, what am I committing to, if you know, it might be good if anybody has questions for that now or within the next couple of weeks would be a good time to ask those questions.
Yep. Yeah, please. We could always use more tech leads.
So what is like being a tech lead? I can repeat the questions that Edie just mentioned.
Sure, yeah. Let me. Well, let's just get through the list of updates because I think it's going to go quickly, and then we can kind of get into it. Makes sense for everybody. So supply chain, I know that the supply chain stuff is over, but did we ever get the final update regarding the output of the supply chain stuff yet from Matt? I know he's been pretty busy on stuff. I assume that's probably still a no there. All right. Any updates on security assessments?
We haven't been asked to do a new one. I did talk with some folks from the Kubernetes team who also do assessments that apparently uses our process, or at least an older version of it, and I passed along the book, which they did not apparently haven't been using, but have been kind of taking our assessment process from before we wrote the book and like adapted it into some stuff they were doing. So I'm hoping that there'll be some good feedback from that we can all merge back together and have maybe a new chapter at the end of the book, like we have the CNCF specific one. And
Cool.
also, Eddie, if there's Finos related or other related, like some minor chapter to plop on the end, that would be helpful to know. we could think about that as something people could contribute to, or we could also do them as, hot takes. Like we have a bunch of hot takes in I forget what we called them, but something like that throughout the book itself.
Yeah, could you flag that as like something that I think we either need a working session or a thread or something to make sure that we stay aligned on that.
Yeah, I don't know where that should live because it kind of is cross everything. But I did ping someone on the Kubernetes security team, and if and when they come back, then that's fine. And if you think of something here, and like if there's someone who actually has the energy in and wants to do this, then I can start to tie stuff together. But I don't have the energy to like chase everybody down.
Maybe just like a group DM of like, here's the problem statement, and then if nobody responds, then nothing gets done. But if the interested folks are at least presented with presented with the problem, then we can probably not leave it all on you to coordinate.
In addition to that, one of the things that I think could prove valuable, because like I ran into it a little bit over the weekend, was I could not find. I was looking for the book this weekend and I didn't know where it was, and my Google searching kind of came up with nothing. I don't know if there's like some SEO or something, but when I was looking for it, I kept coming back to the sort of various GitHubs, but not like any links to at least that I could find of the actual book.
What did you search for? I just searched for it and got it on my first.
Oh, maybe I looked up security self-assessment book.
I see. I think I put the book title in, which I think helped a lot. I put Open and Secure CNCF book and it came up.
Okay.
But what your title is also a very logical thing to do.
Yep, I see it now. Okay, yeah, open and secure. Yeah. All right, cool. Thanks. That's also just helpful personally. All right. Next up, are we still calling it security controls?
Yeah, we settled on that. We're
Okay.
gonna keep the name. So the PR to the contribute site, no real change on that. I don't think I was at the last tag meeting, but I think I read in the notes that folks might have talked to someone at OSS Summit about it. I might just circle back in the chat just to see if anything came of that, or just find specific people to reach out to see if we can get this unblocked. We're also working on a follow-up blog that we will also PR to the contribute site. And then in parallel, Hannah, who I think is on here, is working on milestone 3, which is working with the Cloud Native PG group to iterate on their threat assessment that they completed during the Security Slam to create a corresponding controls catalog that would represent their hardening guide. And I think that would honestly be the final deliverable for this initiative. I don't think I have anything else. Unless, Hannah, you have something to add.
All right. Thank you, Jen. Next up is MCP auth N auth Z. Any update on that white paper?
Last I checked in, Satarupa was trying to get confirmation from some of the original authors. because they're doing some rewrites and losing a lot of content from the original authors based on feedback. And I think that actually slowed them down because the first batch of contributors are kind of ghosting to the point where she's like questioning whether they were ever human in the first place. But she's still been kind of like inviting and welcoming feedback. So if anybody hasn't gone in there and taken a look at it yet, I know, Mike, you've done a lot recently. But if anybody hasn't dropped in any feedback or insight into the MCP doc, I know that's still a welcome contribution from that team.
Cool. Um, and then any updates regarding Security Slam?
No, we're going to pick that up 3 months out from KubeCon,
Okay.
which is soon, but not now.
Okie dokie. Any other updates? It looks like Lori, there might be an update from Lori.
I wasn't sure if other tag groups were partners or not, but it seems like yes. So I just want to give a quick update on 1740. It's an initiative involving Cloud Native and OCI compliant interloop tooling and packaging for AI engineers. So we basically have a doc attached to the issue, and I'll share it in the chat as well. Since I last showed up a month ago, we now have a user flow, an end-to-end flow that shows you a 10-minute idea to sorry, it's later here, it's 7 p.m. Idea to inference, step-by-step guide. And so that naturally covers some steps around secure supply chain concerns. So we're now getting ready to do some outreach into specific groups, working groups, OWASP, folks with their own frameworks. Try to like bring minds together and see like how our different activities complement or overlap. So take a look. Like I said, I'll put this doc in the chat and give your feedback. We'll meet next week again. Basically, what would be helpful is like if we covered sufficiently the concerns around supply chain checks, compliance. Do you have any recommendations from your real world experiences that you might want to share or add to this doc? Just yeah, whatever comes to mind. I mean, I think we're also going to be, one of my to-dos is to look at the ecosystem and make sure that I'm including every relevant project, to the best of our ability, so that they're aware of this work and can also contribute or even plug in if they think they need to be or they want to be mentioned is options through different stages of the workflow. That's certainly something that like they can raise. But obviously at this stage, we're just looking for contributions, feedback, and input. My outreach plan is also a flow. It builds on top of this, what you see in the doc, by Natalie Fisher. And there are specific questions that I've tried to really target, one or two questions for each project or group or working group so that we can get like pretty specific given people are very busy. If anybody wants to see that, I can share that too, but I'm still working on it and then I'll add it there to the Google Doc.
Hey, Lori, this might just be because you're in my pocket and I've got terrible listening skills, but
Ah,
could you restate could you kind of restate like what we can help you with? Maybe if you've just got like here's the problem, here's what we can help you with,
mhm.
just real quick for my little brain.
Yeah, sure. So we're working on a workflow that covers, how you package your AI assets, like machine learning models, agent skills, things like this, and use those in tandem with OCI compliant containers, package everything up, and ship it. And so we're looking for feedback on the workflow itself, input from projects, if projects are working on related initiatives, frameworks, white papers, other things, bringing that to our attention so that we can see, who is doing similar work, so that we can think about what's complementary and what is overlapping or duplicative, and just try to bring everyone together around the same kind of outcome, because this is a CNCF initiative. Does
Could
that help?
you Yes, no, that's super great. Could you paste the link to the item that you want feedback on in our Slack channel so that way
Oh, yeah.
well, there's a lot more folks that are at least looking at that. Not necessarily everybody's going to reply, but it'll be right there for everybody to see, and for me when I get back to, when I get
Yeah,
back to be
sure.
able to click on it. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and I can do that now. I was gonna wait until around next week, but I can do it now because, I mean, it's
Oh,
public,
whenever
so.
you're ready. I don't mean to rush you. Just more like if you have a request for feedback, uh, that would be a nice place to make sure that everybody sees it and understands
Yeah.
what you need feedback on.
Yeah, I mean, I think not only feedback, but also if you have recommendations on like the outreach messaging to projects you're working with. So, like, since you're at the center of the security and compliance, like if you're hearing from different projects across the ecosystem, you think that they should weigh in. Like any sort of eyes and ears can be quite helpful.
Um, yeah, one of the things I think that comes, uh, and I think this is just generally a challenge today, is like, because for what it's worth, I have literally the same problems that you've sort of laid out here in that doc. But one of the things I think we're currently experiencing is kind of like the high level versus like what's available. Because reading through some of this, I'm like, as far as I can tell, there's no tools that do some of these things today. I think that we should be doing stuff like one of the questions that internally, we have our own agent skills that we're planning to, that we actually have published publicly. But one of the things is it probably should have an SBOM of some kind, but it's just text. It has stuff that it relies on, but it's hard to like right now an agent skill is just some text, so it can go and use it as it sees fit. And that to me is also very, very scary from a security perspective because it's like telling an engineer like, yeah, just see if you have this tool installed and try and run it. And, it's like that's not really a great idea versus, hey, here's like a version signed, yada, yada, yada. The other thing that we're like noticing as well is a lot of the existing tools don't support things like, Tough in Toto, trusted publishers, all the great things like Salsa, etc., all the great things that we're kind of looking at. So the thing I'm curious about from your perspective is, do you see this document more as like this is what we should be doing and pushing for, or is this is like this is what you could be doing today?
It's a way to try to provide a guidance framework. It's kind of like we've only met twice. And so we were having in the first meeting, is this a reference implementation? What are we really driving towards? And so I think we're still figuring that out. The feedback from users or prospective users will help us arrive at the destination, I think. So any feedback like that, that's really quite valuable. Given that we're dealing with a moving target, and then on top of that, like the nature of the technology with all this drift and nothing being like fixed anymore. Yeah, we have some constraints for sure. So I guess we're gonna learn as we go what's possible and wait for other solutions to kind of come online. I guess some are kind of in the incubating stages.
Yeah, I mean that's useful because like again, I think the big challenge today is um in sort of that tooling is kind of is currently a challenge. Because again, internally we are doing things like I think that are described here. Like we're signing our skills and we have some custom tooling we've built to sort of verify that, the skills we're using internally are the ones we've signed. But when like looking at the broader world, it's uh, maybe even worse than curl pipe sh. It's just purely like copy paste this random markdown and hope for the best. Um, but yeah, I think that I'd be happy to provide some feedback on this, but I do think a challenge right now is I think what would be a good call to action here is also highlighting where some of these gaps are today and how some of this is going to be custom code that you're writing, but we very much recommend that the open source community maybe rally around some of the existing things that we're kind of already doing, because I also want us to avoid the trap of you're going to have your own, SIG store that only signs AI, and you're going to have your own, there's going to be like, as opposed to Open Container Initiative, there'll be the Open AI Initiative, and they'll have their own packaging format and yada yada yada, as opposed to reusing a lot of the existing stuff that we have here. But yeah, again, looking through this, I think this is very going to be very useful.
Thank you. That's really helpful already. I was taking some notes. I'll share with the team.
Yep. Cool. Any other questions, comments on that point?
I guess like I'm trying to understand, is this meant to be like an encyclopedic listing of the things that are available, or is this supposed to be picking a set of things? Or because I see a lot of stuff like maybe I'm missing it, but baseline doesn't seem to be mentioned as part of the frameworks, roadmaps, and best practices. And there's just lots of other stuff where I think there are yeah. So is this meant to be like a list of all the things that are available, or a curated set, or what is it supposed to be?
If you're looking at the outreach plan, that's simply to reach out to people in different communities. That's where there's long tables of things. I would recommend checking out if you look at the documents tab where it says project and scope definition and user workflow. So that's where we're trying to start turning it into
Okay, got it.
basically a narrative to help people understand beginning and end. Like what are the steps or the actions, and then building on that. Do those steps conform with your experiences? Do you want to add to those? Do you recommend other steps? That's where we're seeking feedback. And then, like, if you look at those two sections of the doc, the project and scope definition and the user workflow, and you say, oh, well, my group or my project, or I know of a project or a group that's doing something really similar, and here's that issue or that thing, the draft. Somebody should comment on this, like we're on the same page here. Like that's also the kind of insights and feedback and information we're looking for. That's like part of the goals of the outreach plan. See who else is doing similar work. So for example, Model Pack is quite aligned with what you see. So Natalie's already reached out to them, and there's a couple other projects in the flow itself that we will reach out to. Does that help?
It helps some. Yeah, I think I need to take some time to try to digest some of this.
Yeah, I mean, I think the
It's
simplest way
it's
to
like
think of it
kind of
is.
it's kind of hard at points, because having done security assessments for a lot of the projects here, there's a lot of stuff that's kind of missing, and there's also things where there was like a Coke versus Pepsi decision, and sometimes there's some real security ramifications and differences here. And
Mhm.
so I don't know if that's something you want to surface, or if that's something you don't want to surface and just say like, no, we are Frito-Lay, so therefore we put exactly these types of chips and these kind of beverages and stuff like this in our box, or how, like, I'm trying to, because like decisions about, do we do, if you want to know what's in things, then attestations are a better way to know what's actually in things than SBOMs, but SBOMs are more of a compliance-friendly format that's required by certain groups, just as an example. And so there's a question about like whether that should be surfaced to someone reading this document, or whether it's just inappropriate because it's out of scope, or it's not. Yeah, I don't know. So that's the kind of thing I'm not sure if that's welcome feedback or not.
I mean, this is a open initiative, and we're in the early stages, so I think it's quite welcome to, if you don't want to spend a lot of time going down a particular road, an initial question to the effect of, maybe have you considered this option, where you see the relevant text? I mean, that just opens a conversation. That's totally welcome. Yeah.
Okay, I'll add a few like suggestions or comments in places, assuming I have comment to access the document.
Yeah, if you don't, I guess if you pop up, there's a developer experience channel, and then there's a separate channel specifically for this. So if you can't find the second one, if you go into the developer experience channel, and you can even tag me, and I'll make sure that you get access if people are busy or something.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Next up, I think, is going to be questions about being a tech lead. Um, does anybody want to give a rundown of what a tech lead is currently like?
I mean, honestly, you tell people I want to work on cool thing X, and if the group, by you being a tech lead, has basically said, we trust you enough that you'll mostly do same things, and then you come back and check on this. But it doesn't, like, there's all kinds of wild stuff that different people have proposed that's turned out really well. And so it's not like, it's not like a job as manning the counter at McDonald's, where you need to be there 9 to 5 and push buttons whenever customers come in. It's more of a, what good ideas do you have that we as a group, like that the group also would think are good, and usually having one of those, and then other people not wanting to take it over, means you kind of become a tech lead. Has historically been it. Now there's more formal election process, so it's a little different, but I don't know if I've conveyed the idea and understanding here well, if anyone has anything they want to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you hit a lot of the high level stuff. To kind of maybe take also a slightly different approach. It's also a lot of helping with paperwork and coordination for better and worse there. So, I think everything that Justin said is accurate of like, hey, we're, you know, um, kind of experts who also do reasonable things. Like we're not just coming in here and purely opining on random abstract things. We're coming in with stuff that is really approachable in the CNCF, and then also in addition to that, uh, making sure that various other pieces of work sort of stay on the tracks a little bit and are moving in the right direction, especially for folks who are maybe first timers to contributing to some of these initiatives. So the various white papers we have, even if we're not day to day contributing to those white papers ourselves, we're making sure that those white papers are following the various rules of CNCF. So things like, don't pick kings, that sort of thing. Of we can we can't call out specific products, that kind of stuff, like those sorts of rules. But also, in addition to that, making sure that various initiatives don't just uh, sit around for months and months and months with no actual work done on them. And then in addition to that, to make sure that folks who are not familiar with writing a white paper or who are not familiar with things like some of the other stuff that we do, that the structure of it makes sense, that it's going to be something that's useful to the rest of the community. And then also a lot of mentorship of folks to help with that. So again, folks who it's their first time writing a white paper. Hey, here's the things you should be looking out for. Here's sort of the approach. I'd be happy to, review some of the stuff that folks have been doing. I think that's the high level stuff, right? Did I miss any major things that we do um, that we should highlight?
Maybe just project reviews. Like that's something
Yep.
else that we engage in, looking at projects that are submitting to be part of the CNCF sandbox and projects that are looking to get promoted in the process, and we provide technical reviews and contribute those back.
Yep, that's another big one from Jen. So yeah, like pretty much making sure that projects are doing reasonable security things when they try to get into CNCF for something like sandboxing, but also and then also as they're graduating, and then obviously with a lens on projects that are with a focus on projects that are clearly security focused. So things that touch auth, things that touch um, identity and secrets and those sorts of things get a higher scrutiny from this group than, certain other ones that maybe less so. Any questions about anything we've brought up so far?
It was a very good description, by the way.
Thank you. And then also, please, anybody who is interested in running, please run. Don't think that just if you're um, we're always looking for more folks. So even if you feel like you're not an expert yet, everybody here is here to mentor and help out as best they can. Because we could always use, regardless of everything else, we could always use more security in the world. So please, if there's any interest whatsoever from anybody, please, reach out. We're always happy to um, mentor, provide insights, help steward the next sort of set of folks to help lead the efforts in this group. Cool. Um, any other topics folks have? Oh, yes, Svetlana.
Actually, I have a related question. How often do you have elections? Like, what's the like rolling period of?
I believe it's yearly for the tech leads, unless there's like a 2 year. I remember somebody else who's been reading up, keeping on top of it. Can you remind me if it's?
Yeah, it's a 2 year term, and we hold elections every year to rotate it.
Yeah, so some folks will have like, so there's staggered terms. So some folks will get elected this year for so yeah, anyway, there's some folks who have a 2 year term, and there's some folks who their 2 year term is ending. Now, again, some of this is given that last year they had done the full refresh of the technical advisory groups. So there's, I think, some folks who only have a 1 year term, and so the next time, so this election is going to be a 2 year term. Um, I think
Due,
that's
due to weirdness,
yeah.
all of the tech leads other than me are up
Oh.
now. But I will also say that you don't view this as there are 6 seats and you have to kick somebody off of a seat. View it more as like if you want to participate, then a seat might be available. And it's often easiest to do this if we get comfortable with people a little bit, like, because you want to know, like, do you like to work with us all? And we want, everybody wants to understand kind of what they're getting and stuff like this out of it. So I would say, like, if you find interesting stuff to do, start doing it, and then next time the election comes around, then just run. And that's probably the best way. Don't feel like being a tech leader not really makes a difference.
Uh, any other questions, comments, any other final topics for like the last 10 minutes or so?
Super quick question. So as I introduce myself, this is my first time, and I'm looking forward to connect again and again. Where should I start from learning perspective of getting to know the agenda and getting to know how to contribute and where to start? If you can, highlight me some of the links and references, it will be great.
Sure. Yeah. I think the majority of stuff is gonna be at the top or actually, oh, I guess maybe some of this did get moved around. Good question. Well, yeah, interesting. That's actually a good point. Looking through some of the links in the meeting notes, they still point to the archived stuff as opposed to our folder in the TOC. I can go and do that after this. Yeah. So I think the most important thing is to join the Slack, which is the CNCF Slack, and it's going to be what is this? A tag. 1 second. Let me pull this up. I will copy the link here. Tag security. Copy link. So it's going to be there, that link, and I will also put it in the meeting notes here as well. So I think that's probably the most important thing is if you can join Slack, because that's usually where we have, conversations and folks ask questions and all of that. And again, there's also I don't know, I don't have it off the top, I don't have it with me right now. Let me see if there is initiatives. No, that's not it. There we go. Tags. let me get you the link to the other stuff. So this is where most of our stuff is in here, and I'll also post that there. That's kind of where our repo, or rather not our repo, our sub folder inside of the CNCF lives, with a bunch of our information about our initiatives and other stuff. They sort of exist there. There's going to be also issues in that repo, which you'll have to filter yourself for, like tag security and compliance. There's the label for that, which you can kind of see in there. And that's where the majority of the sort of work and that sort of stuff is happening. But again, I think the Slack is going to be the best, your best option, because then ask questions, hey, I'm new, how can I contribute? Here are the things that we're currently working on in the moment, all that good stuff.
Sure. Yeah, that will be that's what I was looking for. So I'll refer it and start with that and see, if I can contribute very soon in upcoming days.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions, any other last minute items that folks wanted to chat through? Cool. If not, see everybody next week.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you,
Very
Mel.
much.
Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.